My name is Selena, and I am going to show you a few things today that I love that are Jane Austen related, but not by Jane Austen. So I'm just going to show and share a few things, some things I have with me, other things I will just put a photo up of that I don't have with me, and we're just going to get right to it. I'm doing this because I love Austen. I've read her six major works many times over, but sometimes you just want a little more. So this is just how I filled the void of wanting a little more of Austen than just constantly rereading her six novels. So let's get to it. I'm not sure in what order I'm going to show these things. I'm not showing them in any, you know, way to indicate one's better than the other. I'm just kind of upchucking it all to you, and then yeah, you can see what I like, and hopefully if you also enjoy them, then you'll let me know down below. And if you think that something is going to, pique your interest and you're going to go find more out about a particular thing, let's start a conversation. And I'd love to talk to you. So yeah, I'm just going to get right to it. So the first one is a book called The Youngest Mrs. Ward. And what's really important that I want to show you here is the author's name. Okay, Joan Aiken. And I like some of her writings. Um, they take maybe a minor character in the Austen canon, and she fleshes that character out and gives that character a little more backstory. I was turned on to Joan Aiken when reading her interpretation of Jane Fairfax. I was so happy to read that because when I was done, I was like, yes, this is what I had hoped Jane Fairfax's story would be like, and it was, it was epic and sprawling and romantic and adventurous, and yeah, I like it. I tend to give Austen's characters a little bit of a backstory just to kind of flesh them out more fully in my mind. So like Darcy and Caroline Bingley, I have a suspicion that maybe at some point, maybe when Darcy and was just getting to know Bingley and his sisters, maybe he thought, hoped, or had a little inkling that he may have liked Caroline Bingley, and she, he's dashing. Of course, she fell in love with him, but after getting to know her really well, he was like, yeah, no, and moved on. But Caroline Bingley just didn't move on. That's kind of like my backstory as to why she seems so attached to Darcy, because it seems odd that she's so, attached to him. She's like, rah. Anyway, so I like to give the characters a little bit of a backstory, and so that author Joan Aiken does that. She's also written one where Fanny Price's sister, who comes to stay with the Bertrams at the end of Mansfield Park, kind of has her adventure at Mansfield Park and with Henry Crawford. And I have not read that one yet, but I heard it's pretty good. Yeah, so Joan Aiken is one of my favorite Austen things, not by Jane Austen. Next, still sticking with a book, is Josephine Ross's Jane Austen, A Companion. So Josephine Ross, she does a lot of history and fashion writing, style writing, and so this is it's like a biography, but I feel like it's more of just putting Jane Austen in context. What's going on in the time in which she wrote and in the time in which she lived. So I like this just because I'm not into biographies on authors. I don't feel it's necessary to enjoy the book, and I'm not that curious. But I just read so much Jane Austen that I feel like I should know some things, and this book was very helpful in providing some of that background. We have some illustrations here. So this is the illustration that Cassandra drew of her sister Jane Austen. Here is a picture of the rectory at Steventon. These additions, in the form of photographs. And yeah, I just, Bath Hall. This is kind of what Jane would have walked into in her time spent at Bath that she hated. And the Prince Regent, in which the time period Regency era is named after the Prince Regent, and she disliked him immensely. Although the dedication to Emma is to him, is dedicated to the Prince Regent, but she was kind of forced into that dedication. She did not like him at all. But yeah, so I found this fun. It's not really, it's a biography, but it's biography light, and it, reads very quick, very easy, and it just fleshes out the world of Jane Austen fully for me. So other things Austen related that I like are movies. So Bridget Jones' Diary, based off of Pride and Prejudice, and I believe the second one was based off of Persuasion, but I also liked this movie. This movie, The Lake House, with Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock, which is also based off of Jane Austen's Persuasion, and I really enjoyed this movie. A lot of people don't like it, but I thought it was very well done, tender, romantic, and You've Got Mail. I love a good Meg Ryan, Tom Hanks movie anyway, but this one does have some plot lines that stem from Pride and Prejudice, and then Nora Ephron, who was such a wonderful, wonderful writer and read Austen a lot and utilized Austen's style in her own writing. She writes this mini essay, and she gives it to Meg Ryan's character to speak, and it's about Austen and reading Pride and Prejudice, and I will read that for you right now. I'm going to read what Nora Ephron put in the mouth of Meg Ryan's character, Kathleen Kelly, in You've Got Mail, and it's about Pride and Prejudice, and once I heard those lines in the movie, I just was like, oh my gosh, that's exactly how I feel every single time I read this book. And it goes like this. Confession. I've read Pride and Prejudice about 200 times. I get lost in the language. Words like thither, mischance, felicity. I'm always in agony over whether Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy are really going to get together. Read it. I know you'll love it. That's just awesome. That's exactly how I feel when I come upon Austen, and that's exactly how well, I don't know. I'm not going to say what other people feel. I know how I feel. So those are some of my favorite Austen things, not by Jane Austen. I'm sure there are many more, and when I come upon them and think of it, I will post it up in another Austen-related video. So share with me things that you like that are Austen related but not by Austen. I'm always interested in finding things out like that. And yeah, let's talk about Austen. Okay, bye.